Welcome to ACC Network Basketball presented by Geico. Students and fans lining up early to get in to see the Boston College women take on number 5 NC State. The only time they will play during the regular season. BC looking for its first win against the Wolfpack since 2015, and a good crowd will be on hand to see the Wolfpack as BC holds its pink night. And you see the standings. NC State's only blemish in the conference 3 games ago when they fell to Notre Dame, breaking an 18-game winning streak in the conference, and you see BC at 6-6. Right now, all of the experts, including our own Charlie Crean, have them getting into the tournament. And we welcome you to the ACC Network. Pam Ward, along with former Wade Trophy winner at Purdue, Stephanie White. And let's start with Boston College. This is a team that has only one ranked win this year, so a big game tonight.
Yeah, it certainly is. What a tremendous challenge for Boston College, certainly having them at home, an opportunity to improve their NCAA tournament resume and defending the best offensive team in the ACC. It's going to be a challenge, but an opportunity as well for the Boston College Eagles.
Yeah, and NC State, on the other hand, 2 straight wins since they lost to NC State. But first, let's take a look at the resume. Charlie Cream, who, by the way, will be joining us in the first quarter of this game, has them into the field, one of the last 4 in, but you see just that 1 win against the net top 25. A very different story for NC State. They have some huge wins this year, and Charlie has them projected as a number 1 seed.
Yeah, and it's really important for NC State to really hold serve here. Take care of what you're supposed to take care of. Win the games that you're supposed to win. So that means they have to approach every game with a sense of urgency. Wes Moore has talked to his team about this, playing 40 minutes at a high level of urgency.
And you see the number 1 seeds. Charlie has them as the number 3 overall. Louisville also in there as a number 4. NC State beating Louisville, so even though they are tied atop the standings with 1 loss each in the ACC, NC State owns the tiebreaker against the Cardinals. Elisa Cunane and the rest of the Wolfpack getting ready to come out onto the floor in Conte Forum here at Chestnut Hill. And this Boston College team, Coach Joanna Burnaby-McNamee now in her 4th year. They've not been to the NCAA tournament since 2006. It's been a while.
Well, this is a team that has continued to improve every year under Coach Mack. This is a team that is tough, that is feisty, that is playing much better at home. So, again, a tremendous opportunity for them against NC State.
And I think tough and feisty would also probably go along with Coach Mack, as she is known. She is a native of West Virginia, was an assistant along with Jeff Walls when Maryland won the national championship back in 2006. Jeff doing well at the University of Louisville, obviously, and Coach Mack trying to get BC back into the tournament for the first time since 2006. And we are underway. Boston College wearing the all-pink uniforms. Cameron Schwartz, number 1, had the ball briefly, and Taylor Soule, certainly the heart and soul of this team. Allie Van Timmeren with the miss. Soule gets the offensive rebounding, and that's going to be a huge key in this game.
Yeah, it really is. And one of the concerns for Wes Moore was rebounding. Offensive rebounding, 2nd and 3rd opportunities will benefit Boston College.
The miss now for BC, this NC State starting 5. They are a very proficient one. Jones, Perez, and Crutchfield all coming back as super seniors, taking advantage of the extra year because of COVID. So they are deep, they are experienced. And Lisa Cunane helping up Brown Turner, who got knocked to the floor. Wes Moore now in his 9th year, the ACC Coach of the Year, got over 100 wins just a couple of games ago, and has beaten BC 9 straight times. And they have been in the top 5 for quite a while now, but trying to have the season end on a better note than last year, where, as a number 1 seed, they lost in the Sweet 16.
NC State is just such a balanced offensive team. They have great inside play with Elisa Cunane. They have great perimeter play in 3-point shooting. And, you know, it's really a pick your poison when it comes to defensive scouts.
Yeah, that is it. They have Cunane, and then the 4 who can all hit 3s from the outside.
Well, it's interesting when you look at the numbers and you see that there aren't a lot of players. As Schwartz knocks down a jumper, there aren't a lot of players on this team that are in the top 25 in terms of ACC rankings, and that just shows you how well balanced they are. They get production from multiple players, really 7, 8 deep.
Cunane, 14th in the league in scoring at just over 13 points per game. That leads her club. Perez, one of those three-point threats with the miss. Kayla Jones, sort of the Swiss Army knife of this team, comes up with the rebound. And here's Cunane, good seal. Good defense. Maria Gakdang is a freshman from Lanham, Maryland, number 5, and she is giving them a post presence that they sorely have lacked the last couple of years. And right on cue, she gets the offensive rebound and the putback.
Well, it's impressive what she's been able to do on the interior, defensively especially, as a young player, in this league against great post players. Uses her length, uses her athleticism, and really does a good job of staying in the play. She can block shots and keep them in the play. You see right here the length. She doesn't have to swat down. She has to stay straight up, stay balanced, and on the offensive glass, very active and able to get it too.
Yeah, she's a 6'3", as you see, the true freshman, 3-time freshman of the week, and it was actually a block shot in a high school game that really caught Coach Mack's eyes. She did the same thing, made a block, kept it in play, and then made a long outlet pass, and that was when she said, I got to get her to go to BC, and she did just that. Crutchfield, who had hit 9 of her last 18 threes, misses that one. Gakdang kept it alive, and it's brought up by Gerard. Swartz, who started her collegiate career at Colorado. Nice move to get around Crutchfield, who's a really good defender.
Well, Cameron Swartz is such a solid, savvy offensive player. I mean, she uses her body well. She plays at a great pace. She can play at all 3 levels. She doesn't get rushed. And she's one of those sneaky athletic players. I mean, look right here. She just gets right around Crutchfield, uses the glass, finishes for 2.
39 points at Clemson, which tied a Boston College all-time women's record. That was earlier this season. Brown Turner bottled up. Kayla Jones able to get the bucket over Seoul. KJ's numbers down a bit from last year, but she has been coming back from a surgically repaired knee that flares up from time to time.
Well, and the great thing about this NC State roster is there's not as much pressure on her to produce with the depth, with the addition of Diamond Johnson, who comes off the bench. So she can maintain that role of being a glue player, and when she makes plays, she makes big plays at the right moments.
And a big bump. They're going to get Jones for the offensive foul.
Kayla Jones in transition, a good job by Gerard of establishing herself early and taking that charge.
And Gerard running the point as the starter this year. Michaela Dickens coming off the bench. Had been a starter last year for BC. Westmore gets an early word in. Mai Forsberg, Angelica Suffren, and Nick Capel, our officials this evening. BC out to the early 4-point lead against an NC State team that right, man, they lead in points per game, field goal percentage, and 3-point percentage offensively in the league, but just 2 points in the first almost 4 minutes tonight.
And Coach Mack talked to us about, hey, for some reason they have struggled making shots here, so we just have to try to make everything difficult. Don't allow any easy open opportunities. And what I like that Boston College is doing right now, giving themselves extra possessions, crashing the offensive glass, multiple opportunities at shots on the rim.
Oh, that's a good look. They're always looking for the best shot. Gerard got a good look at it and nailed it. It's now 8-2.
And much better ball movement already in this ball game than they've had in their last couple of games. Taking early shots in those last couple of games and not shooting it at a high percentage. And now multiple ball reversals, multiple players touching the ball and getting high percentage looks.
Cunane crashes to the floor. Lisa Cunane has yet to score and has only taken 1 shot. BC out of the gates quickly, up 8-2. As Cunane takes an early rest, that means Camille Hobby should be checking in. And Coach Mack, he talked about how they want the shots to go down. Her words to us were, the shooting gods have to grace us again, because they have not been shooting the ball well in their last 4 games. They lost 3 of them. BC out rebounding NC State 7-2 so far.
And you're right, Pam, about those last 4 games. One of the things that Coach Mack talked about was just our shot selection. They want to take the first open shot. They don't want to get an opportunity to turn it over. But when you don't have that, you don't have to force it. Really work in the ball side to side, get a little bit deeper into their offensive action.
Johnson coming in relatively early before the first media timeout. Missed her first shot, and then Swartz dials one up.
Well, Cameron Swartz can get hot quickly, and we've seen her impact already in this ball game. NC State's going to have a hand in her face, and Westmore was concerned about Swartz and Soule on the offensive end.
One of their best three-point shooters. Now Perez can't get it to go. Soule able to rip it down. Swartz and Brown-Turner got tied up a little bit. Nothing called. BC holds on. There's Michaela Dickens, number 10, coming off the bench now and gets her first shot. And Boston College out to a great start, up 13-2.
Well, the shooting gods have certainly been blessing her Coach Mack's team. They are letting it fly. Swartz for three. She's been an offensive firepower already in this ball game. And then off the bench, Dickens for two.
ACC Network Women's Basketball is presented by Geico. Save even more when you bundle home and car insurance. Westmore has had a lot of celebrations so far for NC State, back-to-back ACC tournament champions, trying to get them back into the Final Four. And Steph White, they are not off to a good start today, but good stuff. He got his 100th win a couple of games ago in the league, as State became the first program to reach 400 ACC wins. They beat 6 teams in the top 20. But he probably was not very happy in that last total.
No, I'm sure he wasn't. You know, this is an NC State team whose defense has improved as they've gotten into ACC play. And right away, Boston College has come out and metaphorically thrown that first punch. So important for NC State to punch back right here.
Kayla Jones with the only bucket for State so far. The rest of the team 0 for 6. As you take a look at the numbers, they're being badly out-rebounded as well. And Hobby continues in the game for Elisa Cunane, who only took one shot before she came out. Diamond Johnson's going to keep throwing them up there, and she has been such a terrific get after playing her freshman year at Rutgers.
Yeah, she really has, and having some production and a spark off the bench is really important, and Diamond Johnson gives NC State that spark, and she gives them that offensive production. I think the challenge right now for NC State is that's their first three. They're struggling from the three-point line. Can they get some easy buckets in the half court?
He had gone about 4 minutes before scoring, before that Johnson shot broke the drought. Shot clock dying quickly. Swartz got to throw one up, and she got it! Cameron Swartz with a desperation three, nails it.
And Pam, exactly what Coach Mack was saying to us. They had taken shots early in the shot clock the last 2 games. That's this time late in the shot clock. Really good on-ball screen action. Swartz steps up calmly, coolly, and knocks it down.
And gets the rebound off the NC State miss. Swartz, a senior from Marietta, Georgia. And Gerard going behind the back and then lost the handle. Perez, it's 2-on-1. Nice pass to Kayla Jones, but Taylor Soule, some good defense. Jones still able to score over her. Under 2.5 minutes left to go. Working on the perimeter. We haven't seen Gakdang really do much on the offensive end yet, but we've seen Cameron Swartz doing some stuff.
And we sure have. Into the shot clock. If you're Kayla Jones, you got to be up a little tighter right there. Swartz does such a good job of that little rhythm dribble into the three-point shot.
And there you see the big games for Cameron. That 39-point effort again tied an all-time BC record. Sarah Ben also had 39 points at Georgetown back in 1993. Even before you were at Purdue.
Yeah, that was like way back in the day.
And Kayla Dickens still in there. Coming off the bench for BC as we approach 2 minutes to go in the first quarter.
And I like what BC's doing, really keeping NC State off balance, coming with a little three-quarter court pressure, 2-3 zone action.
Kayla Jones couldn't get the offensive putback. Raina Perez has to chase it down all the way in the backcourt. Jones cut off by Sol. There was a kicked ball, so NC State holds on to possession. Here comes Cunane back in. Lisa has made the cut list for all of the major National Player of the Year awards. Preseason Player of the Year in the league. Just one shot so far tonight. Boyd off the inbound, left it short. Sol able to get inside of Cunane for the board. Taylor Sol has only taken one shot for BC. And another one from the outside.
Well, Pam, if you're NC State, you've got to have a little bit more sense of urgency on the defensive end of the floor right now. Everything going well offensively for Boston College. They're knocking down shots. They're working the ball. The lack of urgency on the defensive end is really hurting NC State. Diamond Johnson knocks down a shot.
That was Van Timmeren, just her 11th three of the season for BC. Diamond Johnson has hit a couple of buckets since coming off the bench. That is gorgeous into Van Timmeren.
Yes, it is. So she's just hit a three. Lisa Cunane denying her a little bit as she starts to cut. Really good read back door. Offensively, NC State needs to get some touches inside, really settling for passing the ball around the perimeter and shooting long shots. When you're struggling to score the basketball, it's got to go inside.
Cunane, terrific look to Boyd on the baseline, who took a hard fall. Van Timmeren with the personal foul. Boston College has made its last 6 shots. They have taken an 11-point lead over the number 5 team in the country, but Boyd heads to the free throw line. These are the first free throws for either team this evening.
And they've done a really good job on the defensive end of taking away wide open looks. I mean, Diamond Johnson's hit 2 threes, but they've been 2 contested threes. And defensively, you can live with that. Activity level, high hands, making sure there's quick closeouts, not allowing anything easy.
Boyd gets them both. Got the lead to 9. Kai Crutchfield coming back in. This NC State team has such depth. They have a lot of talented players who barely make the floor, especially their freshman class. BC, you see there about a couple of seconds or so difference between the clocks. Or the shot clock actually off, pardon me. And hold it for the last one. Taylor Sol picks up her dribble. Dickens. Nice feed to Gagdang. Unselfish basketball leads to the BC bucket. BC has made 7 straight shots to end the first quarter.
Well, they've knocked down jumpers from the outside, and this is a great job of attacking the defense. The drive and drop. Deckgang gets 2.
Welcome back. First quarter in the books. Boston College with a 23-12 lead after the first 10 minutes, and Cameron Swartz coming out on fire. 10 points in that first quarter. For the transfer, Swartz 2 of 2 from 3, Steph White.
Well, she's been terrific offensively, has really carried the load and came out guns a-blazing. What I like about her is that nothing has been forced. Everything has been in rhythm. She's done a good job of shooting those mid-range, of attacking the paint, of knocking down transition threes, getting a lot of confidence with some easy buckets early.
And as you see, she has made as many field goals as NC State has as a team. Offensive rebound taken down by Diamond Johnson, Pam Ward, and Stephanie White joining you. NC State, number 5 in the country. 4 of their 5 starters did not score in that first quarter. Kayla Jones, the only one to do that. Sneaks in for another one.
Yeah, I think NC State's really going to have to start attacking the paint. Do it with post-entry passes or dribble drives, force some defensive rotations, get some easy buckets, and not just settle for long-range jumpers.
First bucket outside for Taylor Soule, who is a senior from New Hampshire, who has just been a terrific student athlete, first team All-ACC performer last year. Johnson can't get it to go in. Rebound taken down by Girard, and Johnson took it away. Maine has not scored tonight. Johnson keeps on shooting. Rebound taken down by Swartz.
Well, Pam, Cunane hasn't gotten a lot of touches tonight. Only a couple of touches inside. I think they've really got to look to get it to her. And sometimes when a team is playing really good scout defense, you're not going to get it on the first side. You got to get some ball reversals, get her some touches on the backside, run some little brush screen action.
Yeah, not a lot of touches, and still stuck on that one shot, which came pretty early in the first quarter. Shot clock winding down. That's a chancy pass in traffic. Dickens picks it up. Boyd coming up with the rebound. There you go. Gakdang gambled, and that gave Cunane a clear path to the bucket, but she blew it.
Yeah, you got to finish those. Lisa Cunane is not going to get too many opportunities where she's pretty much wide open at the rim.
51% from the floor on the season, one of the very best, and nobody checked Taylor Soule.
Pam, did you see that move? The swim move that she made to get around the box out? I mean, she uses her quickness. She gets around a defender. Look, this is a Boston College team that the first 19 games of the year were shooting at almost 48% from the floor. They've struggled over the last four, but early in this ball game, playing with a ton of confidence.
Diamond Johnson with 8 points off the bench, half of what NC State has. Yeah, BC out of the gates pretty early. Their non-conference schedule was not exactly eye-opening, but the last 4 games really struggling, averaging under 60 points, only 32% from the floor. But tonight they're hitting 50%. Swartz has cooled off a little bit, and Johnson, the smallest player on the floor, comes away with it. Good pass to Boyd. Here comes the pack.
Yeah, that was a great pass and a great catch by Jada Boyd. She did a good job of making sure she was on balance before she went into that shot and knocking it down.
Swartz for 3 again. Aaron Swartz,
the extra pass.
Yeah, there you go. That's exactly what Coach Mack was talking about.
Yes.
They did it.
Yes, the extra pass. Taylor Soule had a shot, but she gave it up for a better shot to the hot Cameron Swartz. I mean, this is just excellent ball movement. The drive, the kick, the extra pass. This is textbook offensive execution. And this is why Boston College is shooting such a high percentage in this ball game. They're passing up good shots for great shots.
And Swartz is 3 for 3 from beyond the arc. A little bit too tall on the inbounds pass. BC has numbers, and Swartz scores in transition. Cameron Swartz with 5 field goals. NC State as a team only has 7. Cunane works the baseline. There's the quickness.
Yeah, that was a really good move. Avoiding the double team, getting around. But Pam, that skip pass is open. There's a lot of help from the backside when the ball's on the wing for NC State. That skip pass and reverse seal is going to be there.
Johnson grabs another rebound. Now Turner into Cunane with the size advantage over Dickens. Couldn't hit that one.
Yeah, she didn't need to fade away. She had Dickens on one side. She had Swartz coming in on the other side. That's a possession where Cunane might want that back going to the rim.
Quick shot from Dickens on the other end. Johnson able to get inside. Diamond Johnson into double figures. And on the other end, Cunane with some good defense. This is the game picking up. Case favoring NC State, you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think for NC State, they can get the ball up and down the floor. Good entry pass to Cunane. I think you can even get 1 or 2 more passes in that situation and get it to her on the backside so she doesn't have to create. Boston College, they can push too. I mean, they can play at a high pace. They're in very good shape. They get up and down the floor. So NC State on made shots really have to get back as well.
Kayla Ivey, number 2 in pink in the game for BC, and Cam Swartz continues to be absolutely unconscious in this game.
Well, she can get hot, and I'm not sure why Crutchfield backed off.
Cam Swartz has hit all 4 of her threes tonight. Gets it back up to a double-digit lead. And Brown Turner able to slice into the lane. Ball goes out of bounds. Offense picking up now in this game.
So Boston College has been excellent on the offensive end of the floor, pushing in transition, getting easy looks. And Pam, they're knocking it down from distance as well. Cameron Schwartz is on fire. Boston College is off to a hot start on the offensive end of the floor because of plays like this. Great hustle play, swim moves to get the offensive rebound, making the extra pass to get the best shot on the floor, running in transition, getting some easy scores. And Cam Schwartz has been on fire in this first half. The step back 3. Pam, they have been running offensive execution exactly the way Coach Mack explained to us that she wanted to see it.
And what they're looking for is their first NCAA tournament appearance since 2006. There you see, according to Charlie Cream, he has them in the last 4 in. In fact, the last team in. They're just 1-6 against the net top 25. And needless to say, a win against number 5 NC State would really thicken up their resume. But you have to keep in mind, these 2 teams played last year. BC had a 16-point lead with 6 minutes left to go and lost. And NC State's a team that has struggled out of the gate in quite a few games this year and come back to win.
Yeah, they've had, and when they've come back to win, it's because they put a little bit of pressure on and they've gotten hot from the three-point line. And you can't depend on getting hot from the three-point line when you're on the road in conference play. You really have to lock down on the defensive end, find ways to get some balanced touches on the offensive end of the floor.
Hobby in for Cunane, number 41 in white, and there's a travel out on the perimeter. Cameron Schwartz has hit all 4 of her threes. Her career high for a game is 5 threes, so she's just 1 off of that already. And against NC State, under 10 points per game, but tonight, it's a whole nother story.
Well, Pam, she started out the month of November averaging under 8 points a ball game, and really from December on has caught fire, playing with so much confidence, has found a rhythm in this offensive system.
So finding some space off the back rim. And Cameron Schwartz in ACC games only is 3rd in scoring. Really turning it up. I mentioned she had that huge game, 39 at Clemson, 33 against Pitt in the ACC tournament last year that really got her a good springboard into this season. Kayla Jones steps back and nails it.
Those are those timely shots that Kayla Jones hits. Yeah. She doesn't shoot a lot of them, but she makes timely buckets.
And then Jones draws an offensive foul on the other end.
Yes, the double team is coming inside every possession, and Kayla Jones keeps this play alive. Everybody backs off, so she says, okay, I'll just let it fly. And then this is what she does, the emotional leader for this team, makes so many little plays that don't necessarily show up on stat sheets. Taking charges is one of them. But you better believe coaches are keeping those.
Absolutely, that's one of the things that Coach Wes Moore will bring up. There's a blocking foul now on BC. It's an 11-3 NC State run. They've made a ball game of this. They had been down by as many as 14.
Well, getting paint touches, post-entry passes, now attacking the paint, getting opportunities at the foul line, finding ways to make the defense shift, force the defense to rotate.
Schwartz picks up her first foul. That's a well-deserved rest. Cameron so far with 16 points. Turner got one of them to skip in there. And lead is 5. Haven't really seen much from Gakdeng inside. Number 5 in pink, and with Hobby really physical as a post defender.
This is a game, Pam, where Gakdeng is going to have to focus defensively and rebounding the basketball. Really minimize Elisa Cunane's touches inside, use her length against Camille Hobby, who's going to use her physicality, and really play a solid game on the defensive end. And I think anything that she gives this team tonight, offensively, is a bonus. Offensive rebound putbacks, drive and drops.
Yeah, she does have 4 points and 5 rebounds. True freshman, who Coach Mack said that she thought that the season would be made or broken by her performance. Shot clock. Going to get a shot off. Too many dribbles out there by Gerard. Turns the ball over to NC State. Last year, all defensive team in the ACC. You see her out there guarding Johnson, very dangerous with the ball. Taylor Jones. Hobby able to hunt down the rebound. And then a foul on the Eagles.
That's one of those situations right there where you're talking about in the trap, 4 high hands. There is nowhere for Camille Hobby to go. She's in the corner. You've got added defenders. You don't need to bail her out by fouling.
Foul on Dickens, her first for BC. Johnson showing that quickness. Kayla Jones just everywhere.
Yeah, she is. I mean, all of those little plays, all those hustle plays, doing the dirty work on the offensive glass.
So 14-3 run now. BC with 3 straight turnovers. Hobby on Soul. Gets a little help from Crutchfield. And another turnover. 4 straight now for BC.
And Pam, I felt like that was the first defensive possession where all 5 players on the floor for NC State had a high level of urgency. Activity level was good, communication was good, active hands, active feet.
And a block by Gerard on Johnson.
Well, this is just really good defense. Diamond Johnson thinks she gets around Gerard, and Gerard gets back in the play to get a hand on it.
Last year led the ACC in steals, as we said, was on the all-defensive team. With the clean block, and then knocked it as soon as Johnson threw it in. Leading team in steals again this season. Mike Forsberg goes over to look at the monitor. And we remind you that there is more great women's hoops coming your way next Thursday on the ACC Network and the ESPN app. First, it's Pitt tipping off against Miami, and we have this one. Looking forward to this one, Steph.
Yes.
We're going to be in Atlanta for Notre Dame and Georgia Tech. That is a huge game.
It really is, and you think about Georgia Tech really trying to find their way into one of those top 4 seeds. An opportunity, Notre Dame is likely there, but it's going to be a exciting matchup, and I'm looking forward to seeing Olivia Miles in person.
Yes, she's not bad. Having a terrific freshman and a half year for them. The closest,
I like that, freshman and a half.
Yeah, closest this game has been in a while. Yeah, she came out early last year, not eligible for ACC Freshman of the Year, but could be the newcomer of the year, which sounds a little counterintuitive. But anyway, that's a charge. Kayla Jones, just a player that's been well documented. Didn't play much at all as a freshman. Kind of had a coming home to let's do this right between her and Wes Moore. They both he said, I needed more out of you, and she basically said to him, if you were less of a butthead, maybe things would work out. And they've worked things out, and now Jones has blossomed into this really, I think Kanane's awesome, but I think Jones might be their most valuable player.
Yeah, she really is the glue for this team. I mean, she's the heart and soul. She's the pulse, night in and night out. And she really does bring all that energy, that leadership, that toughness.
Brown Turner has it skip off. BC has to hurry. NC State down by as many as 14, trailing at 35-32. BC no field goals in the last 4.5 minutes. Time to get you to the studio. Kelsey Riggs, Muffin McGraw, and Kelly Gramlich.
Pam and Stephanie, thanks. Welcome into this ACC Network halftime report. As she said, alongside the Hall of Famer Muffin McGraw, Kelly Gramlich, I'm Kelsey Riggs. It is a 3-point lead for Boston College at the break. And how about what the Eagles are doing at home? How about the atmosphere that they have there first? Enjoyed seeing the crowd there. But Kelly, they're shooting lights out so far in the first half.
Cam Swartz, oh my gosh, get a fire extinguisher. Like, this woman is out of control. And she's really been doing this throughout the year. In just ACC-only stats coach, she's second in the league in scoring. So it's not shocking, but she is shooting the ball really well. It feels like, though, BC struggling to maintain that lead right now with NC State.
Well, they were, and they ended the first quarter, making 7 shots in a row, and I think in the second quarter they had 4 turnovers in a row, which is kind of on par for them. The problem with the ball screen, NC State is having trouble guarding it. They're not guarding Taylor Soule on the 3-point line, so when she goes to set that screen, there's nobody out there to hedge, so Schwartz is coming off. She's not wide open.
Oh, no, there's a hand in her face.
But she definitely is shooting
but
the
she's
ball
knocking
well.
it down.
They got to figure out the ball screen.
16 points for her in the first half, Cam Swartz, and has not missed from 3 yet. And Kelly, you mentioned, and we heard them talk about it in the game, this game last year, Boston College was up. What do they need to do in the second half to make sure that they maintain what they've done and hold off a really good NC State team?
Well, BC's a jump shooting team, and so they can be streaky. I think someone else besides Cam Swartz has to get going, whether it's Michaela Dickens or Gerard or a little more T. Soule. It can't just be Swartz. But I would say, Kels, I would like to officially put us on 30 burger watch with Cam Swartz. 16 at the half, the way she's shooting the rock. I would just like to be on that watch, if we don't mind.
Got to get it out there first just in case it happens, right? You heard it here first. Kelly called it. We've got a lot more to get to here because we have a lot of games in action right now. We'll tell you more about that after this. Meanwhile, this was the first top 16 reveal that the NCAA Tournament Committee released a few weeks ago. On January 27th, we will see their second release pretty soon, 7 o'clock, the halftime of the 7 o'clock game that we've got going on tonight in women's basketball. Guys, when you see there, NC State, they were a number 1 seed last time. Louisville was a 2 seed. No Georgia Tech. We thought maybe they would get in last time. They did not. Coach, what are you expecting to potentially see in this one?
Well, last time I thought Louisville was a number 1 seed last time, and Tennessee has proven that they've really dropped off, lost 3 out of the last 4. I think that there's a couple teams that are going to drop out. It seems as though the pressure was too much for some of these teams as they got in. I think we're going to see some new teams in this week.
Kelly?
I agree, and I'm excited to see where Notre Dame ends up. When you look at the bottom there, Georgia and K-State, I think they'll both drop out. Of course, Tennessee's going to drop a good bit. UConn might drop. So to me, Notre Dame looks like a top 4 team, or top 4 seed, excuse me, but we'll see what the committee does.
And how about Georgia Tech? That was a team that we're really making a case for last time.
Georgia Tech, because they laid that egg, coach, up in Raleigh at NC State, that hurts them. And we've looked at it. We talked about it last time. Their strength of schedule still hurting them. And that Auburn loss, that's a quad 3 loss for them.
It really was. We're trying to find ways to prove that they should be in. And, Notre Dame still has to play Georgia Tech. So I think that's going to be an important game to see maybe if one of them finishes 3rd or 4th in the ACC, maybe they jump into that Sweet 16.
2 number 1 seeds for you with NC State and Louisville, Kelly?
Right now, yeah. Now, I don't think they can take into account what's happening right here, right now in Chestnut Hill. So with that loss, if NC State does lose, that could affect it. But going into today, I think so.
Absolutely.
All right, we will see what happens. We will have much more on that for you tonight on All ACC. After the men's game, next up here on ACC Network, we do have Duke and Clemson, and then we will be with you for halftime of that, be with you afterwards for All ACC, and then the men, of course, joining me Saturday for Nothing But Net. We talked about it already. Cam Swartz trying to make all the buckets. Kelly wants a 30 burger. It's a 3-point lead for Boston College at the break.
Welcome back to ACC Network Basketball presented by Geico. Good crowd on hand at the Conte Forum as Boston College got off to a great start, but just leading NC State by 3. as we head to the second half. Pam Ward along with Stephanie White. And boy, BC looking for a signature win, and tonight they came out of the gates great.
They sure did. They came out playing like they were looking for a signature win. Very aggressive on the offensive end of the floor, active on the defensive end of the floor. Really, the first 20 minutes of basketball dictated tempo, but NC State made a run.
They certainly did, but first they watched Cameron Swartz do a whole lot of damage.
Yeah, she was excellent in the first half, 16 points, and she did it in a variety of ways, getting to the rim, knocking down threes. She shot the ball so well, 4 for 4 from the three-point line, 6 of 9 from the field. Really carried Boston College offensively in that first half. And in the second quarter, NC State got going. They made a run of their own, and they did it because they attacked the paint, getting touches to Elisa Cunane, attacking off of the dribble. And Kayla Jones was terrific. She made so many big plays, momentum plays for NC State, allowed them to go on this run.
All right, Kayla Jones, 9 points, 5 rebounds. Cam Swartz, though, 4 for 4 from distance. That is the 4 threes, one off her career high. And they got off to a fast start. NC State closing on a big run where BC did not score for the last 4.5 minutes. And look at that bottom line. It has been 2 years since NC State trailed by as many as 13 points, which is what happened tonight in the first quarter. We're actually down 14 with about 6 minutes left to go in the second quarter before they made their run. Boston College projected by Charlie Cream as one of the last 4 in, which means they would be playing in the first 4. Remember, this is the first year that 68 teams will be participating in the NCAA tournament on the women's side, and there you see the first 4 out. Texas A&M had that overtime win against Kentucky on Sunday, a classic, and they are trying to get into the NCAA tournament in Gary Blair's final season. So here we go. It is the pink game, as you can see. Boston College wearing the all-pink uniforms, and there is a foul right off the bat on Brown Turner.
Well, these first 3 or 4 minutes, really important for Boston College. Making sure consistency on the defensive end of the floor, continuing to be aggressive and work the ball on the offensive end of the floor.
And Boston College shot 54% in the first half to just 36% for NC State, and still just that 3-point advantage. That's a good way to start for Girard.
Well, so good in the mid-range. And really, when BC gets that ball moving side to side, they're getting great looks.
And Kelly Gramlich mentioned that BC is a team that likes to live and die by the jump shot. There's Kayla Jones with a good seal, nice entry pass, and the finish.
When Wes Moore told us he's going to go to the hot hand, and Kayla Jones has been the hot hand for NC State. I like the way that they're utilizing her on the block, continuing to attack from the inside out.
Lisa Cunane with just 4 points on 5 shots in the first half for State. Shot clock winding down. Gakdeng, one of the few chances she's had to post up Cunane, missed it. Gakdeng, her offensive game still developing for the true freshman from Maryland. Now trying to get it inside. Sol got a hand on the pass as they were trying to get it into Cunane. Swartz just threw one up there, no foul called.
Well, that was good D by Crutchfield to get back and affect that shot by Cameron Swartz.
Yeah, that's what Kai is known for. Very good perimeter defender. Now the step back 3 ties the ball game.
Well, Pam, you mentioned how hot Kai Crutchfield has been from the three-point line, has struggled early in this ball game, but can get hot quickly.
That's right. She's hitting 50% from 3 the last 4.5 games. One and done. Jones coming up with yet another rebound. NC State has not led in this game. Cunane way out on the perimeter. Kayla Jones, can she bail him out again? Around the horn, Crutchfield with the miss. Rebound taken down by Van Timmeren. BC settles in now to its half-court offense. Jones on the defense. Is doing it all, forcing the turnover.
Well, Crutchfield with the step back, able to knock down the three-point shot. NC State certainly needed that. One of the things early already, Pam, is NC State's just really stagnant on the offensive end of the floor. The ball is sticking, it's not moving, there's not a lot of ball movement, there's not a lot of player movement offensively. We're used to seeing this team with a lot of movement, a lot of different options.
Yeah, a little bit more fluid and trying to get things going. Jones has been good. Johnson gave him a nice bump off the bench in the first half. Shot clock again into single digits. Perez trying to make something happen, and indeed she does. Reina Perez with her first points of the ball game. And NC State leads for the first time. Jones, who else with the tip?
Yes. I'd like to know how many deflections she has in this ball game because she's got a lot of touches on the ball.
Litchfield back to Perez. Nice quick pass, and Perez has hit 2 in a row.
And Pam, we've seen a lot of NC State, and I think NC State is a better team when Reina Perez is offensively minded. And she doesn't have to take a lot of shots to affect the game, but she certainly has to be available and ready to take shots.
And Timmerin, boy, they needed that 3 to break that 9-0 drought that went back to the second quarter. Yeah, Perez is that point guard, a grad, coming back, taking advantage of the COVID year.
And there are some games that she looks for her shot more than others, and I think NC State's a better team when she does look for it. And she just is really always under control, does a good job of getting in the paint with the little float game action, and then the ball movement, it goes back to Kai Crutchfield, and Crutchfield right back to Perez. But then the answer on the other end, Van Timmeren with the 3.
Van Timmeren, an early enrollee last year, which makes her a freshman and a half. There is Jones, who got blocked, but still was able to go and get the basketball.
Great recovery defensively. Sense of urgency on the defensive end for BC.
Perez just a little bit too strong, and then the smart block out there by BC to Dickens to get the ball out. Westmore knew that this would not be a gimme game. This is a BC team that has won 15 games, but just 500 in the ACC. He said, I don't look at rankings and net stuff and polls. He said, I look at film. And he said when he looked at BC on film, he saw a lot of concerns.
He sure did. He talked about their toughness. He talked about their size. You know, he said this is a better team than the record would indicate. And anytime you play in the ACC, anybody can be beaten on any given night. And again, Westmore talking to us just about the consistency of his team throughout a 40-minute ball game. And we're seeing it again here tonight.
Down early, and now with a 1-point lead. It's a 23-8 NC State run. Perez rims out. Back then comes up with the rebound. Dickens left open, but a travel. You saw it, right?
Yeah, you can catch it and then take the little hop. You're going to get called for it every time.
Timeout. Coach Mack not happy. Welcome back. NC State with a 1-point lead over BC. And yes, Elisa Cunane's club, along with Haley Van Lit's Louisville team, according to Charlie Cream, will be #1 seeds and in the middle of the pack. You see these 4 teams seated between 4 and 6. And I love the phrasing, Charlie's phrasing. Duke is safe for now as a #9 seed, and he has BC as the very last team in. And they could kind of solidify that, obviously, with a win tonight against NC State. A lot of basketball yet to play. Boston College looking for its first NCAA tournament appearance since 2006. Cameron Swartz having a terrific game so far for Boston College, but their offense has gone stagnant after getting out to an 11-point lead after the first quarter. Perez and company turned the ball over. Boston College was just 3 scores in the last 11 and a half minutes. Still only down 1 to NC State. Taylor Soule cut off nicely by Cunane, coming over to help on the double. Outside shot. Cunane, terrific box out. Allows Boyd to get the rebound. Cunane going against the true freshman Gakdang. Good defensive stop by the freshman that time. Dickens right back to Swartz. And the 3 hit at the top of the three-point circle by Jalen Batts. Averaging about 3 points per game, knocks that one down, and BC bounces back on top. Lyman Johnson, instant offense, number 0 in white, into the game and gets it to roll in. Johnson with 10 in the first half. Wes Moore says she's more like his 6th starter. Taylor Soule putting her sneaker back on as play continues. Soule with 4 points and 6 rebounds so far tonight. Unquestioned leader of this BC team. Gakdang is not going to shoot from out there. And another giveaway. Boston College has not been taking care of the ball since about midway through the second quarter. Perez, stop, pop, hit. Reina Perez hitting her first 3 of the game after missing her first 4 from distance, and State back on top. Offensive foul gets the ball back to the pack. Kayla Ivey, another Prince George's County kid from Maryland, knocking down the 3, but Reina Perez, and Steph had talked about this, when Perez is looking for her shot, NC State becomes a much different team, and she hit that 3. State leading by 3. Cunane left unchecked out there, turns and hits it. I think Elisa was as perplexed as anyone that she was that wide open, and now State leads by 5, a 7-0 pack run. Boston College with 23 points in the first quarter, just 20 since. And the ball goes over to NC State. Got inside of Gakdang and charged. Taylor Soule able to get over just in the nick of time to draw the offensive foul. And you see her feet clearly outside of the restricted area. A heady play is something you expect from Taylor Soule, who has just been terrific both on and off the court. Coach Mack talks about how Taylor Soule would like for her kids to grow up to be just like Taylor, and there's one reason why. She just keeps on working inside, got the rebound and the putback.
Yeah, it's a great offensive rebound by Taylor Soule. Getting back in the play, getting multiple possessions.
Boston College down 3. Last year, Coach Mack said that Taylor Soule was her only killer. And we asked her on the call yesterday if she had some more, and she said some players are working on it. Said Gerard in particular is a nice kid who tries to channel her inner killerness, but that's not coming along. But Soule is always the one who is just fighting for every millimeter of space. She does it again. And you see the fired up Taylor Soule.
Well, Coach Mack talked about her competitiveness and her motor, and you can see the energy, a really good job of getting position down low, the strength inside to finish with the contact.
Drew the foul on Boyd. Again, a great crowd on hand tonight at Chestnut Hill. Taylor Soule has another year of eligibility left, and of course, Coach said we'd love to have her back so she could develop her game. And she's telling her, she's giving her the old, hey, you know, a master's degree from Boston College will go a long way talk.
It sure would. It sure would, right? A master's degree, an opportunity to continue to work on your skill set for the next level.
EC tying it up on the three-point play by Soule. A minute left to go in the third quarter. Johnson, that steps. Conte Forum is alive.
It sure is, and you think about this, Pam, like this is the biggest game, right, for Boston College. They are trying to play themselves into the NCAA tournament. They're playing an NC State team that's ranked number 5 in the country, and you have this environment to give you that extra boost of energy. Gotta look inside. Soule was open on the post-up.
Swartz got it to her eventually, but Soule left it a little light. Perez pushing it. Draws the foul on Ivy. NC State had turned the ball over on 3 straight possessions before Ivy fouled Perez, who heads back to the free throw line. Or actually, their first trip there tonight, pardon me. Bald Men on Campus has become a staple every Friday night at 9 Eastern Time on the ACC Network. Jay, LaFonso, and Seth will take a look at all the basketball action in this great conference, only on the ACC Network and the ESPN app. Well, Perez hits them both. Quiet the crowd a little bit and get NC State back on top. 4-second difference between the shot and game clock. Ivy out in front. Soule gets the Van Timmeren screen. And then the three. That's the second one for Ivy. Perez off balance. A three by Kayla Ivy gets the folks on their feet. BC up 1. We are back in Chestnut Hill, and look at this score. Boston College up on number 5 NC State by 1. We've had 3 ties, 4 lead changes. The Eagles led by as many as 14. State's biggest lead was 5. And Boston College, a team that is trying to play its way into the NCAA tournament. This would become quite a feather in their cap. The last time they beat a top 5 team was way back in the 20th century. 1999, Steph.
Way back in the 20th century.
20th century, 23 years ago, when they beat then number 2 UConn, when they were both in the Big East. And we remind you that this is a team that has been projected by Charlie Cream, our brilliant bracketologist, to be not just in the last 4 in, but the last team making the field of 68, contact inside. And Boston College, remind you, last year when these two teams met, they were up 16 points with 6 minutes left and lost to NC State. And I'm sure that that is in the back, certainly, of Coach Mack's mind and the other players who participated in that game. Foul on Swartz, her 3rd. Dickens couldn't handle the rebound cleanly.
Well, and Pam, that's the effect that Gakdang has inside with her length and athleticism right there. I mean, she doesn't have to block a shot. She can just alter a shot to affect this team on the defensive end of the floor, which is what Boston College missed. They lacked that inside presence, and she has it, particularly on the defensive end of the floor.
Van Timmeren was playing a lot of posts last year as a true freshman at only 6'2", playing out of position, and now they have Gakdeng, who is a 6'3" pure post player, averaging just over 2 blocks per game. Quick timeout here early in the fourth. BC up a point.
BC up 1 against NC State, and they have been letting it fly from 3. 8 of 14 from the three-point line, and everyone's getting involved. The ball is moving side to side, extra passes, passing up good shots for great shots and open shots. And Boston College has done such a good job on the offensive end of the floor. We're talking about a team that the last 4 games had shot under 20% from the three-point line, returning home to light it up here tonight.
Up by 1 as we get the fourth quarter rolling along. Their season high, by the way, in threes. Boston College is 11. They have 8 so far, but boy, they have not been able to hang on to the basketball. Diamond Johnson into the game for NC State. BC with this huge game tonight, and then their next few games with an opportunity to get some wins. Pittsburgh next, and they go on the road to Florida State, as you see, then Wake, at Duke, and at Syracuse. Steph, there's some winnable games in there.
Well, there sure are. And you think about their non-conference schedule, and it wasn't really strong, but getting a win against Notre Dame as Taylor Soule gets another 2. If they could hang on and beat NC State tonight and take care of business, they are playing their way into the NCAA tournament.
And Taylor Soule coming alive here in the second half, but then Kayla Jones answers.
When Westmore talked to us about the fact that when they get down in ball games, they come with this pressure. Come with the 1-2-2 pressure, try to turn teams over. We saw them do that against Louisville at home when they were down big and made that second half comeback as well.
Epic comeback for NC State against Louisville. Earlier this season. Tight one here in the fourth. Dickens! Well, you give her that look, she's going to nail it pretty much every time.
Yeah, she is, and just wide open coming off of that on-ball screen. You know, Pam, we've been talking about the sense of urgency by NC State, particularly on the defensive end of the floor, and it has not been there consistently.
Jones with the miss. Cunane couldn't get it cleanly, but Johnson was able to come away from traffic. Back into Cunane. Gakdeng bit on the fake and then redeemed herself with the block. Swartz has not scored in this half. The ball trickled off the rim and it goes out of bounds to State, but Gakdeng again on the defensive end.
Yeah, Maria Gakdeng has been special on the defensive end for Boston College all year long, and you can see she just does such a good job of timing, of blocking shots without fouling, of being that rim protector inside. And Pam, I liked it early in the third quarter when NC State was looking for Kayla Jones inside on the post-up as opposed to Cunane. Cunane could possibly stretch the floor a little bit with her three-point shooting ability.
Three-point play possible now for Johnson.
A really good cut by Diamond Johnson. She sees the opening in the paint, does a good job of cutting, of making herself available.
Cam Swartz has just picked up her 4th foul for BC. Her three-point shooting getting them going, and another great rebound by Jones, who had to do the tightrope walk on the baseline to keep it in bounds. Jones cut off, left Brown Turner wide open. Just a little bit too strong. Jones with another board on the cusp of a double-double. Cunane, count it.
You see the save right there. Looks like it hit the line and was out of bounds. Kayla Jones able to continue to play through, and a good job that time of using the off-hand, off-arm by Cunane to shield the basketball and go up and finish the N1.
That ball was out of bounds, dribbled by Jones, so a break for NC State to hold on to possession and then get the points from Cunane. Two-point advantage, 7 minutes to go. Gerard, big time three, and the Eagles are on top again.
Pam, how many times have we seen BC come off of that on-ball screen and able to knock down a jump shot? Really good execution and a great job of being shot ready coming off those screens.
They are 9 of 16 from distance tonight. Cunane, very smart, able just to keep it alive and knock it off of Gakdeng.
Well, we've seen this multiple times tonight. A really good job, a little brush screen action. Both NC State defenders, it's a guard-to-guard play. You got to be ready to switch that. Both were sagging off, and Gerard makes them pay.
Gerard, one of the better three-point shooters in the league, and that was a little bit too clear of a path for Crutchfield. State with a one-point lead in this back-and-forth ball game. Tough on the other end. Kayla Ivey. Giving the Eagles some big-time offense off the bench tonight. Oh, that worked. I think that works, Steph.
It works. I love that we're answering every time down the floor. You've got one team that makes a great play, and then the other team is answering. I really am impressed with the confidence that Boston College is playing with on the offensive end of the floor and the patience to get what they want in the quarter court.
Sol just drew a foul.
And I think this is a really good way to get Elisa Cunane touches right here. Bring Gakdeng out away from the rim. She's going to hard hedge on an on-ball screen. Make that extra pass.
Cunane joining Kayla Jones and Diamond Johnson into double figures tonight. Last foul was on Kayla Jones, her third. We've had 9 lead changes in this game, 5 of them in this quarter. Taylor Sol at the free throw line, just the second free throw taken by BC tonight. One out of 2, ties it up again. Johnson.
This is when you got to get Cunane a touch right here. Gakdeng is out of the ball game. You've got to get her a post touch. And that's on Perez and Johnson to recognize that. They've got to recognize that in the flow of the game, and they've got to be able to find a way to get her a touch.
Dickens gets it over to Sol. Guarded by Kayla Jones. Clock into single digits. That's too tough of a pass. Picked off. Boston College fortunate that the ball rimmed out from Johnson, and another opportunity for the Eagles to go back on top. Cam Swartz coming off the bench now. She will check in, playing with 4 personals. So got it.
She's coming alive in the second half, taking over on the offensive end of the floor.
Taylor Sol with 14 points and 8 rebounds, as you see. Sol got tied up with Cunane, and it looks like the foul will be on Taylor Sol.
Taylor Sol's been exceptional in the second half and offensively knocks down the mid-range. Coach Mack says that's a layup for her.
ACC Network Women's Basketball is presented by Geico. Save even more when you bundle home and car insurance. Some of the very loud and engaged fans here at Conte Forum, more fans than usual, because the students are showing up they come to the game, and then when they leave, they will get vouchers to get tickets for the Duke men when they come in to play BC. But the good thing here, Steph, they're coming. A lot of them probably have not been to a women's game before. There's certainly, many of them will be coming back. And they're also giving BC a little home court advantage with their enthusiasm. They're not just sitting it out waiting for the vouchers.
You're right. They're engaged. And, you know, we always say in women's basketball, whether it's collegiate women's basketball or WNBA, if you come for the first time, you usually get hooked. You'll want to come back. And these fans are seeing this, some of them for the first time, and certainly will be back.
Oh, Taylor Soule could not corral the rebound. BC up 2, trying to pull off the upset. This has been fantastic. BC had a 14-point lead back in the second quarter. State is led by as many as 5, 4 ties, 10 lead changes. Right now, NC State shooting a season low 24% from 3. They've gone over 2 minutes without a point. And a turnover. Kayla Ivey, I think, is earning some more playing time tonight. Making some big plays on both ends of the floor. Taylor Soule draws a foul. Ivey, the sophomore from Forestville, Maryland, right outside of Washington, D.C. Coach Mack doing a good job recruiting that talent-rich area.
And Pam, this is big right here for BC. Knocking down a couple of free throws, get a defensive stop, make sure that you're engaged on the defensive end. You think about NC State and their experience, right? Their experience in these situations, their experience with super seniors. And right now, if you're Boston College, you got to continue to play your game. You can't tighten up right here. You've got to continue to be aggressive, continue to execute scout defense.
Kayla Jones, wide left. Johnson able to get in there to get the rebound, and then Jones gets the second offensive rebound and puts it in.
Multiple possessions, you got to take care. If you get them to miss a shot, you've got to finish the play with the rebound.
And look at the offensive board, Steph, plus 14 in favor of NC State. One reason why they're only down 1. A quick timeout, Chestnut Hill. Welcome back. The number 5 team in the country, NC State, trailing Cameron Swartz and Boston College by 1. Just over 3 minutes left to go. BC trying to get its first win over a top 5 team since 1999. Swartz in the game with 4 fouls. Has not scored in the second half after scoring 18 in the first half, including 4 threes. So getting it inside to Gakding. She was fouled. Gakding with 4 points and 6 rebounds. That foul was on Cunane, Elisa's second of the game. Soule posting up, just very nifty around the basket. Lost it, regained it. Gerard picked up her dribble. Shot clock winding down now for Ivey. He needs to put it up, makes the extra pass, and can Soule get it off in time? Yes, but she airballed it. And State with a chance to take the lead.
Important possession right here for NC State to get a good, high-quality shot. Don't have to settle. Look to attack, inside out.
Perez short on the 3 attempt. Boston College slowing it down. Swartz got it stripped by Johnson. And Johnson is so fast. Just able to beat everybody down.
And she's so good at anticipating those passes. Whenever they're going into the post, whenever they're going into the elbow, she's so good at anticipating those passes and getting a hand in there.
The Rutgers transfer leading her team in steals as well as threes. Basketball on the ACC Network continues at the top of the hour as number 7 Duke travels to Clemson. That's men's basketball coming your way tonight from Littlejohn right here on the ACC Network and the ESPN app. Coach K's final season in charge down in Durham. Dickens checking back in for BC. Just 8 regular season games remaining, 3 of them at home. 23 days until his final game, but the NCAA tournament certainly looming for Coach K. You'll see them after this one is finished. And Cameron Swartz, first points of the second half, a big one.
Sure was. Poised, has struggled this second half, but steps up with confidence and knocks that down.
8 down 1, and Perez just threw it away. A little miscommunication with Johnson. Perez among the leaders in assist to turnover ratio in the ACC, and talk about a big possession. Here you go, BC up by 1.
And that's a good decision right there. That is one of those time and score decisions that Coach Mack was talking about. Make sure you get good execution as Taylor Soule attacks.
Gets the offensive rebound twice. Great work by Soule, the floater. Dickens a little bit too strong. Perez is able to pick the ball off the floor. 8 lead changes in this quarter alone with a minute to go. Perez floater, got it.
And going back to putting Elisa Cunane in the 2-man, getting Gakding away from the rim, putting 5 around the perimeter.
Now Boston College down 1. Swartz, 3! Missed it. Cunane able to cleanly get the rebound. And now the clock is on NC State's side.
NC State has to get a good offensive possession right here. If you're Boston College, these are some of the things that you've worked on in practice. You get a stop, you get a rebound. If coach wants to timeout, call timeout, advance the basketball. But Westmore wants to talk about it.
13 seconds left on the shot clock. NC State leading by 1. In a game they trailed by as many as 14 points. It's been a thrilling back and forth here in the fourth quarter. This was
big play right there, right, Pam, with the ball hit out of bounds, and NC State was able to get some momentum from that play. Every time we've had a lead, there's been an answer, a score and an answer on the other end. It certainly was a game of runs, long runs in the first half. In the second half, they've been short runs, and I am really impressed with the way that Boston College has continued to maintain their aggressiveness, sticking to the defensive game plan and executing.
Yeah, Coach McNamee said that they need to have a high level of intensity for 40 minutes, and so far so good. And there you see the 5 ties and the 13 lead changes, each team with a couple of timeouts. Taylor Soule with a huge second half with 11 of her 15 points coming after the break, but right now they need a defensive stop, but Westmore drew up a good one, and Kai Crutchfield put it home. BC calls timeout. They will advance the basketball into the front court.
Pam, that was just perfect execution out of a timeout. I mean, you know, Boston College has been pressuring in the passing lanes. You assume that Elisa Cunane is going to get a cut, clear out the backside. Kai Crutchfield just cuts back door. It's a one-on-one cut. And that pass, that is not an easy pass under a pressure situation. Reina Perez delivers it on the money.
Marley Cream, our bracketologist, has NC State as a number 1 seed in the upcoming NCAA tournament, the 3rd overall seed. BC, the last team in, trying to break a huge drought. 06, the last time they made it into the big dance. But boy, what a game this has been. We knew coming in that Boston College had an opportunity to kind of cement their way into the NCAA tournament with a win tonight. And they have had their opportunities, leading by a lot in this game, Steph, but right now they need a 3.
Yeah, they do. I mean, execution out of a timeout is going to be important. This is certainly a team that's shown that they belong in the NCAA tournament, to continue to take care of business, but a win here tonight And the way that Boston College has been executing offensively, if in a time and score situation, if they can get the shot that they want, they've been lighting it up, Pam, they can knock it down.
So you think you go for a 3 straight out, or if you get a good opportunity to take a 2?
Yeah, I think there's too much time. With the timeouts and advancing the basketball, I think you get a quick score as you can, whether if you have a quick 3 maybe, but if not, getting to the rim, getting a quick score, and then fouling, and then you have an opportunity to advance the ball again.
NC State on an 8-2 run over the last 3.5 minutes. BC's missed its last 4 shots from the floor to fall behind by 3. Let's see how they play it. First, they got to get it inbounds. Oh boy, barely, and they have to burn their final timeout.
Yeah, you said it, Pam. The most important thing to get the ball in bounds at that time. You have to have an outlet. You have to have somebody that shows themselves when you get to about that 4 count. And now, no timeout left, so no opportunity to advance the basketball. So I still think you can get a quick score. Hey, look, every coach in the country goes through time and score situations. What are you going to do at the end of the game when you can advance it? What are you going to do at the end of the game when you can't? Getting the quickest score possible is important right now for Boston College.
They are out of timeouts. Possession arrow is in favor of the Eagles. And now Gakdeng will throw it in. Taylor Soule gets it over to Schwartz, their 3-point specialist. Good show by Kayla Jones to cut her off. She goes for 2 and hits it to get them to within 1.
They were looking for the 3 off of the drive, and the pin back didn't get it initially. That's the 3 they were looking for right there by Schwartz. She didn't get it initially. Good decision to attack the paint. Put some pressure on the defense. Get a layup. Get a foul. There's still plenty of time on the clock. That possession did take a lot of time, but a good decision by Cam Schwartz to get the score. And now you got to lock down defensively.
Yep, Schwartz with her second bucket of the second half. Now just over 13 seconds left to go for NC State.
So right now, Pam,
go ahead.
You want to talk about if you're Boston College, if you can get a 5-second call, great. If not, we have to have a quick foul, right? We have to have a quick foul, and then what are we doing after the free throws? What are we running after the free throws? If you're NC State, they have timeouts. You want to get the ball in bounds. You want to make sure you know they're coming to foul you. Hang on to it. Don't allow a tie-up.
Lisa Cunane with 11 points and 6 rebounds tonight. NC State bracketology is so important. The reveal coming up from the committee, the second reveal coming out shortly. And Boston College trying to cling, being the last team in. This is a team that was picked 11th out of the 15-team ACC. Returned all 5 starters from last year. Just 1 ranked win so far for BC, and that was against Notre Dame. But they need, obviously, to get a stop here.
Yeah,
State
Pam,
is
NC
in
State,
the bonus.
And NC State used a timeout right there, so they used another timeout, so they don't have any more. So you have to get the ball in bounds. I'll be interested to see if Boston College puts Gakdeng on the ball. Make it a difficult pass to get the ball in and see if you can make it a loopy pass and get a steal. If not, no matter what, you still have to foul, right? But now NC State, 0 timeouts, so they have to get the ball in bounds.
At 6'3", the tallest player on this team. But yes, Coach Moore taking back-to-back timeouts. This very important possession. It has been a while since BC beat a top 5 team. It was UConn way back in 1999. 4 years after their first national championship.
And Boston College choosing to go small. They're going to try to switch every screen, try to get in the passing lane, try to get a steal, and then there's the foul.
Soule fouling Elisa Cunane, who is an excellent free throw shooter, in fact, the best in the ACC. But no choice there once they got the ball in bounds. As you said, time ticking. They had to get a quick foul, and they did. Elisa 1 for 1 from the line tonight.
So you don't have to have a three. You put some pressure on the defense. You attack the paint. You try to get a layup or a kick or a foul.
Cunane gets 1 out of 2. Remember, BC out of timeout, so they can't advance it. They have to go the entire length of the floor.
And Westmore subbing, so it doesn't allow Boston College an opportunity to get the ball out quickly, allows him the opportunity to set his defense.
Gerard quickly gets it over half court. Nice by Schwartz inside, and she ties it up. Pardon me, that's Van Timmeren who tied it up. And we're going to overtime.
Pam, what poise under duress. You're down 2, head up by Gerard. Great execution to tie the ball game up. Head up, sees the double team coming. Great finish by Van Timmeren. We got a tie ball game.
Welcome back to Boston College, where tonight's overtime is presented by SoFi, and your eyes do not deceive you. Number 5 NC State is tied up with Boston College. Let's take a look now at our net gains, brought to you by SoFi.
Time and score execution under duress at crunch time. Gerard, great job of keeping her head up. Excellent cut by Van Timmeren. Could have just stayed out at the three-point line. Instead, found the open area, cut to the rim. Strong finish to send this ball game to overtime.
Allie Van Timmeren. There you see her. She played a few games last year, coming in mid-season, an early enrollee. First game actually was January the 3rd last year against NC State after all of 2 practices, and now she burns NC State a year later to tie this game up. Pam Ward and Stephanie White joining you. Taylor Soule and Boston College trying to pull off what would be their biggest upset since the 20th century. Here's Soule. Off the rim, and then foul on Johnson for holding on to Dickens. Ryman Johnson starting the overtime period, the very talented 6th player for Westmore this season. 3 ties and 9 lead changes in the 4th quarter. No one led by more than 3. There's Dickens. Conley got them both. Acting, little separation for Cunane for a while. Long rebound is grabbed by Gerard.
And that's a smart defensive play by Taylor Soule right there. And the horn set for the first time, she backs up and makes Jones think about it. Doesn't give her a rhythm shot, but doesn't give her an easy look.
Acting with a tough little one-hander with her left hand. It didn't go in, and then the foul. Acting decided to attack Cunane in the paint. First foul on Maria. Kayla Jones heads to the free throw line. She's had a beautiful game tonight, a double-double, 15 points, 10 rebounds, a lot of deflections, hustle plays.
right, Pam. She's made so many big plays, big offensive rebounds to get extra possessions, big hustle plays to get extra possessions.
Hits both free throws. And her first trip to the line this evening to tie the game again. 4 minutes to go in the overtime period, the first overtime period.
Is that some foreshadowing right there?
Perhaps. You'll leave the door open. Swartz got it. That's a long two. And she was on fire in the first half. Big shot for Cameron.
Pam, I don't understand. She's been lighting them up. How can you be so far off of Cameron Swartz coming off of that on-ball screen?
24 points tonight. Crutchfield. Cunane working hard. Kai with a little fadeaway.
That's a big shot by Crutchfield. Nothing was going offensively. She had to create on her own.
Another tie. Gakdang pulling Cunane away from the bucket. Seoul has to try to make something happen. Oh, Johnson left open on the three-point line. Rebound, Gerard. Now BC pushes. Dickens, three. Off the back of the rim. Taylor Seoul just laying out to keep it alive.
When Diamond Johnson came out of her shoe on the other end of the floor and was trying to put it back on.
And Swartz misses from three.
Yeah, you got to get a good possession right here. Good decision. Bring it out. Really work the basketball. I think you can look to get Kayla Jones a touch on the block too.
That'll work as well. Diamond Johnson puts State back on top by 2 with 2 minutes to go. And Cunane kind of tied up. Elisa got a hand on the entry pass and forced the turnover. So a chance to make it a 2-possession game for the Pack. Jones left open, decided not to pull the trigger. Crutchfield attacks the bucket and a blocking foul. Count it.
Well, 2 good decisions right there. They are challenging Jones to shoot that shot. She gave it up, and Kai Crutchfield, really big plays in this overtime for NC State. We're talking about your graduate, your super senior, understanding the moment, the experience coming through.
Second foul on Gerard. That is the 3-point play, and all of a sudden it's a 5-point advantage on a 7-0 NC State run. For those tuning in to see Duke Clemson men, that's on ACC Extra until this game is over. Seoul can't get it to go. Big rebound again for Diamond Johnson, who's got a nose for the ball. That is her 8th rebound of the game.
And Pam, the last 2 possessions for Boston College, the first one, a pass trying to make a play happen instead of letting the offense flow like they've been doing the entire ball game.
Kelsey Riggs in the studio, and as you guys mentioned, Clemson Duke men just tipping off, and Clemson 2-point game last time these 2 teams played. It's on ACC Network Extra. We'll send you out there next.
Diamond Johnson hits the first free throw. NC State starting to pull away from Boston College in overtime. Outscoring them 11-4 in the extra period. It's a 9-0 State run. This is their biggest lead of the game. What a time to get it. Soul bumped from behind.
And you can't take that chance right there. You have to play good, disciplined position defense. Right now, the clock is your friend, and you give Boston College an opportunity to stop the clock and put points on the board.
Third foul on Cunane. Able to bounce that one in to break the drought, but it's still a 6-point hole. That's Contavia Wagner coming in, who was an NC State transfer, did not get a lot of playing time in her freshman year, now her first year at Boston College. And then they throw the Hail Mary. Johnson puts it away. NC State Wolfpack, number 5 in the country, number 2 in the net ranking to only mighty South Carolina, going to escape with a victory and win their 22nd game of the season, and another heartbreaker for Boston College.
Yeah, Pam, we've seen the experience of NC State really the last couple of minutes of regulation and into overtime as Lisa Cunane has a bloody nose right here. And Boston College really for 42 minutes, playing great basketball on the offensive end of the floor. And when you're playing in these type of games, it's 1 or 2 possessions, 1 or 2 plays. And the patience and execution offensively
on the floor
was terrific.
Is Boston College ball. The play is on the review.
All right, so Elisa Cunane holding a towel to her face to try to stop the bleeding. Brittany Blunt, the athletic trainer for NC State, helping out. Meanwhile, Mai Forsberg over there at the monitor along with Angelica Suffren. Take a look at what happened to draw the blood.
Yeah, I think inadvertent contact on the rebound. Taylor Soule going for the ball, Cunane coming for the ball.
Yeah, that's just a basketball play, a painful one for Elisa Cunane, but Soule and Gakdang around Cunane. Taylor Soule, who had such a good second half, missed her last 6 shots
After
here
review,
down
the ruling on the court is
stretch.
overturned. It will be NC State ball with 31.8 on the game clock.
They looked at the possession. NC State has the basketball, and you would think that Cunane's night would be over. Slow start for Elisa, but will finish with 12 points and 6 rebounds.
Yeah, it wasn't the most fluid of games offensively or defensively for NC State. And you can always certainly have opportunity to go back to the film and see what it was that needs to be corrected. But again, I think it goes back to what Wes Moore's been talking about time and time again with this team. It's you have to have a sense of urgency from the opening tip until the final buzzer. And this team, for whatever reason, has been a little bit up and down. They've been able to find ways to win, which is exactly what you want. But you make yourself vulnerable when you come into this stretch of the season if this continues to happen.
Yeah, so perhaps some cause for concern then for NC State, projected to be a number 1 seed. And we've talked to Wes Moore quite often this year, and he told us that this week, he said, was our let's get physical week, because back-to-back you got Georgetown and Boston College. We all know that Georgia Tech and Boston College. Georgia Tech, the best defensive team in the country. And BC putting up quite a fight here tonight, but it slipped away here in the overtime. BC, according to Charlie Crean, the last team into the field. Not coming away with a win tonight, but is there any such thing as a respectable loss? I think this certainly would count. Last year they had a 16-point lead on State with 6 minutes left to go, lost it. They were up 2 here in the overtime, and they're going to fall again to the pack. It's a 13-1 NC State run to end this game. And they're going to put it into the win column. Boston College will fall to 15-9, 6-7 in the ACC. BC next plays Pittsburgh, then go on the road to Florida State. Diamond Johnson, reason to smile, 22 points, leading her team in scoring, just 2 off her season high this year, at that 24 against Washington State.
And Pam, Boston College, we talk about them trying to play their way into the tournament. They certainly had, a valiant effort here tonight, but you look at their schedule, they have winnable games remaining on their schedule, taking care of business down the stretch.
State wins it. Let's take a look at tonight's player spotlight, brought to you by Geico, and we just talked about her, Diamond Johnson. Boy, what a spark plug off the bench as usual, scoring 22 to lead State to an 85-78 win. A double-double for Kayla Jones, who was magnificent as well. Not quite enough for BC. They fall 85-78. For Steph White, I'm Pam Ward as we say goodnight from Boston. Time now for Duke Clemson men's basketball.
Welcome into Nothing But Net alongside the Hall of Famer Muffet McGraw and Kelly Gramlich. I'm Kelsey Riggs. You see us wearing our pink. It is Galentine's Day. We're going to be handing out some flowers to players that we think deserve their flowers and deserve their awards. Coach is so excited about all the pink Valentine's Day, Galentine's Day talk. We're also without our girl Chelsea Gray, playing for USA Basketball. Don't worry, she's going to catch up with us in a little while. But man, what a wild, crazy day we had today, and some exciting finishes, Kelly.
Well, it's a perfect way to celebrate Galentine's Day, which, by the way, Coach found out existed last year. So we're really glad that you're now with us. As Leslie Knope says, it's the best day of the year. And so we're excited to celebrate that, Kels. But NC State, BC, what a game to start us off. Went to overtime. And I thought BC, they played really well, especially in that first half.
We learned some things, I think, about both teams in this one. Let's look at how it all went down. NC State, the number 5 team in the country, on the road at Boston College. An incredible atmosphere there. We loved seeing the BC fans show up. NC State seeking their 10th straight win over Boston College. Cam Swartz came out with other plans, Coach.
She really did, but I think what happened was they weren't guarding Sol, so when she set the ball screen, there was nobody there to help. She had a lot of clean looks coming off the ball screen.
Third quarter game tied. That's Reina Perez with the floater. NC State up 2. That was their first lead of the game, Kelly.
Reina hit some big shots. I think NC State is best when she is aggressive, but BC, they kept hitting big shots. And how about this BC crowd? Really fired up.
Love to see it. They definitely played a factor. Elisa Cunane there, the lay-in, gets the foul, trying to quiet the crowd. NC State with a 2-point lead. Then Taylor Soule, the jumper. Boston College with a 2-point lead. 1 minute to go in the fourth quarter. More from Reina Perez. She's so clutch, Kelly.
She is clutch. Her and Kai Clutchfield, who right on cue hits that layup. You have so many experienced veterans for NC State that they know how to make plays down the stretch.
Next play, 20 seconds in the fourth. Swartz drives to the rack. The layup. Boston College now only down 1. 7.2 seconds left in regulation. 2-point game. NC State on top. The cut from Allie Van Timmering, Coach.
Could have been a 3-point play, too. Almost got fouled. Kayla Jones completely lost her man, gave her the open look. What a big shot.
Overtime we go. More big shots from Cam Swartz, the mid-range jumper. BC with a 2-point lead. Same score. Crutchfield pulls up. She knocks it down. Game tied again at 74. Then 2 minutes left. 2-point game. The Wolfpack on top. The bucket and 1, Kelly.
Crutchfield is so clutch. That's why she changes her name sometimes to Clutchfield. But NC State showing why they are a veteran, experienced team.
Kayla Jones with Pam Ward and Stephanie White.
NC State with an overtime win over Boston College, joined now by Kayla Jones, a double-double, 17 points and 11 rebounds. Boy, that game nip and tuck all the way until the overtime. What do you think was the difference there in the overtime period?
We just knew we had to get stops, and I really took pride because I feel like I'm the one who gave it that last layup at the end, so I was kind of mad at that. But we just had to take pride in getting stops because we knew that they was playing hard and we had to match their intensity.
And you know that you have a target on your back every night, and this is a team that Coach Morris talked about being a little bit up and down in terms of urgency and intensity. What do you guys have to do to remedy that as you come down this home stretch in conference play?
Just buy in. That's what I told the team after the Notre Dame loss. I said it's a mental stretch at this part of the season. Really just listen to the coach and what he has planned for us, and everything should work out.
Yeah, and I think Coach will forgive you for letting Van Timmeren get that layup. Another heck of a game. It's okay. Prove you're human, Kayla. And you're a great story. A player who barely played as a freshman to your role now. What has that been like for you all your time now in your 5th year at NC State?
Just trying to embrace the moments that I'm out there. You know, I don't really take it for granted, and I even let the freshmen know and the underclassmen that, hey, eventually it's going to get better. So just keep buying in, listen to coach, and just buying in what he's saying, and it'll work out.
It certainly has for you. Great game tonight. Congratulations, Kayla.
Thank you. Thank you.
17-11 for Kayla Jones. I enjoyed watching you guys say, oh, maybe we won't forget what happened there. But, hey, at the end of the day, you know, she's going to remember it. She's going to continue to learn for it, and they get the win. Coach, what do you learn about NC State in a game like this where they go on the road and they have to grind it out?
And they need that resilience. But you saw Boston College came out and was just on fire. I mean, it could have really got ugly early. They chipped away. They're a veteran team. They never lost their poise. I love how Kayla Jones says the accountability at the end. First of all, it was my fault. But then when she says to the freshmen, it's going to get better. You have to learn what college basketball is like. It's a grind in February.
The mental side, right?
Yeah.
I think that's what NC State's dealing with right now, and they're looking so much ahead to the tournament. They want to make that Final Four, and you got to get through February. You got to win these games so you can get that 1 seed, and I thought their poise down the stretch was huge. And Kayla Jones is such a great story, too. This is a player, I'm thinking back, Coach, I think she averaged like 2 points per game as a freshman. Now she's a 5th-year player with a huge role, and when they lost her in last year's tournament, we talk about it. That was a big loss for them. So NC State, they have to stay focused and live in the moment, but they also know what they want to do in March.
On the other side of things, Boston College, man, a heartbreaker. You have the crowd that you have there. You have the number 5 team in the country who they hadn't beat a top 5 team in this decade, we said?
Since
1999. 1999. I'm not good at math and words and things like that, but since 1999. Kelly, to be that close at home to knocking off NC State, what's the takeaway for this team coming up?
I think BC's a tournament team. When you can play NC State like that, Coach, and they played North Carolina close, they've played Louisville close, they beat Notre Dame, which was a signature win for them. I still think they're a tournament team. That win would have maybe solidified as long as they don't completely fall apart. But, and we were talking with Charlie Crum earlier, we were hanging out with him a little bit. When you can play a team like that close, the committee takes notice.
Absolutely. I think it helps them. I think you see that they are definitely a tournament team. If you can hang with the number 1 seed and take the game into overtime, sometimes as a coach, I would have rather lost by 5, to look at that. But look what they have coming up, Kels.
Yeah, Pitt is next at home. Then they'll go on the road at Florida State, Wake Forest. Close things off with 2 road games, Kelly. When you look at their schedule, what's most important for this team? Is it bouncing back immediately against Pitt?
It is. You can't lose that Pitt game. That's really going to hurt your resume. I think all 5 of those are winnable. Florida State's playing well, so that's going to be a tough one. And, maintaining their poise down the stretch. BC, we've seen this at times, Coach. They get out to a great start. Cam Swartz is hitting shots from the logo. You're like, oh, my gosh, he's going for a 30-burger. But then they lose some steam because they don't have as many shot makers as a team like NC State.
Absolutely.
So being able to maintain that's big.
Yeah, and they'll be able to do that.
Welcome back into Nothing But Net. Take a look at that. Minneapolis, Minnesota, the home of the 2022 Women's Final Four. We are just 31 days away from Selection Sunday. Hard to believe it, isn't it, guys? As you take a look now, the NCAA Tournament Committee, they released their top 16 for the second time, and a few notables for you. NC State, they hold on to their number 1 seed. Louisville moves up from a 2 to a number 1 seed and welcome Notre Dame into the top 16. You see them sitting there at 14 overall, which would put them at a 4 seed. So let's start at the top with what's new. NC State, they're able to hold on to their 1 seed. No surprise there. And I don't think there's any surprise either, Kelly, that Louisville is a 1 seed. Coach, you were saying last time that Louisville probably could have been and would in the future end up being a 1 seed. So what is it about Louisville that has them, the committee, seeing them as a 1 seed?
Well, I think it's very well deserved. One of the biggest things that got them up there is their win over Michigan. from the ACC Big Ten Challenge. Not just a win, they really beat Michigan. Of course, Michigan lost tonight. Maybe a little curse there, Coach.
That's what I'm thinking.
In the top 16. But I think that was a big win for Louisville. How they've played throughout the year. The Georgia Tech win. Of course, they didn't beat NC State, but they played them tight. They have an overall really good resume. And so Louisville sneaking up into that top 4.
No bad losses. I think that's the thing with them. They are just a team that comes out, they play, they manage to win every game. They're not looking at stubbing their toe on any of these games that they have to win.
You said a curse, and that's Michigan. They're at 5, and this came out before, and then they ended up losing. And then last time it was Tennessee. The day that it came out, Tennessee was one of the top 4 seeds, and they ended up losing. So far, so good for our top 4 seeds, our top seeds in NC State and Louisville. Coach, NC State. What they have still ahead, and what can they continue to do to prove that, hey, they deserve to be here and they're going to be able to make a run potentially at a Final Four?
You know, I think they're the best team in the conference. They've got the best players. They've got depth. They've got everything. They've got inside, outside. They've got the energy. They play good defense, and they can really score. So I think for them, they have to continue to go through the ACC and win out. I think that's what they need to do just to kind of keep them going. We've had years, and actually the years we won the national championship, we lost in the ACC final. So it would be okay if they got that far and Louisville beat them. I don't think that would hurt their seed if those two end up, because they're the teams that have the depth and they have the buys, and I think they are poised to win it.
Okay, I want to ask Coach a question here, because when you lose in that ACC tournament final, last year Louisville lost, they went further than NC State. Is there something about the unfinished business that you can take into the NCAA tournament?
Well, I think it kind of resets. You know, I think you're coming in expecting to win, and then all of a sudden you're like, wow, what did we do wrong? And you kind of get that chip back on your shoulder, and that's, as a coach, that's what you want. You almost are like, it's okay that we lost, because it's going to propel us to do something bigger. And also, when you get that big win streak, all of a sudden you're thinking about that. You know, we won 15 in a row. You know, we really have to, you know, we start to get a little tight. So it's kind of good coming off a loss.
And I think we've seen that a little bit with Louisville. After the NC State loss, a little hungrier. They've been playing better offensively. NC State beats Louisville. They're feeling pretty good. And then a little later, they go and lose at Notre Dame. So we're seeing that, too, even in the regular season.
Kelly, how about the slow start for NC State today? And Boston College obviously was shooting lights out first half, and it continued to be a battle. But is there any concern if you're Westmore, hey, we're starting slow, what do we need to do right now before we get to the ACC tournament and in some of these other games to figure that out?
I think a lot of that we have to give credit to Boston College. Cam Swartz is out here, you know, throwing haymakers, like shooting the ball from the BC logo with a hand right in her face. Kelsey, like, what are we doing? Cam Swartz is incredible. So give BC some credit. Back on Monday, NC State got off to a great start against Georgia Tech and really blew Georgia Tech out of that building. So I think with NC State, at times they just look like that team that's ready to play in March.
Yeah, they've
played in February so much, they're all, no offense, they're all old. They're ready to play the tournament.
You know, coaches talking in the locker room, we got to get ready, we got to play hard, and all they're hearing is blah, 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 blah. Yes, we won. We won. Isn't that what matters? How much we won by isn't important to us.
They're like, Coach, we got this. Don't worry about it. Maybe you were nervous. We needed overtime. We got this. Don't worry about it.